Hello everybody, it's Cassie. Welcome back for another Trinity Stamps video. Today we're going to be making a 5x7 thank you card. Let's talk about what we are using first. This is that really cool Pegboard Shelfie die set. It's got some really great parts to it. We're also going to be bringing in the toolbox gift card holder, and we're going to show you a different way to use that so it doesn't have to look like a toolbox. We're also bringing in the oldie but goodie Art Deco Dance foiling plate, and then I have my Simply Sentimental Mom stamps and dies. Now I know Mother's Day is over, but thank yous are good all the time, right? So you could do this however you wanted to do it. I just chose Mom. Here is the glimmer foil we're going to be using. I'll have that linked down below. But here we go. I've already die cut it or cut it down to size, and I'm putting my foiling plate over the top. So I've got my sandwich of paper, foil with the pretty side up, and my foiling plate side down. And I'm going to just tack that down with a little bit of mint tape and then stick that over on my glimmer hot foil system with the plate on the system. And then I'm going to wait for that red light to turn green. And that's going to let me know when I can hit that timer button. That's when I'll know it's hot enough. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to bring in all the dies that I need. I'm going to die cut them out of white cardstock, and I'm going to color them. So that's what I'm doing, just die cutting everything out. That button is red, so I'll hit the timer, and then once that timer stops blinking, I'll know that I can pull this out and put this through my die cutting machine, my Spellbinders die cutting machine. And I have plenty of foiling videos on my channel, so you can head back there and check that out if you're interested. All right, I'll peel back the foil, and I love how that looks on that blue cardstock. It's so pretty. I wanted that to be some wallpaper. I'm going to trim down the toolbox because, like I said, I don't want this to look like a toolbox. I'm going to have this look like a dresser. Now, you could keep those on there if you wanted, because the IKEA dressers, some of those have those wheels on the bottom, so that would work just fine. I'm putting all of my dies back in place where I've die cut them out, just using a little bit of mint tape to hold them in place. That's the easiest way I found to color them, and I really like coloring them with my alcohol markers. It's a fast way to do it. You'll notice I'm clearly not concerned about staying in the lines. That's another way it makes it fast and fun, really, because you just color. And I'm bringing in darker markers in certain areas, and then I'll blend that out with the lighter marker. But this is what I'm going to do for all the pieces that I want to color. So I've got my leaves there. I'm going to do it for the vase. We'll bring in that vase and do the same thing with it. And I'll color that like with a yellow color marker. Bring in a darker one to add some shadowing to it, add a little bit of interest and dimension. Blend that out, and then the vase is ready as well. So the frame, I don't have to worry about adding any darker colors to that because there isn't going to be a lot of that exposed. So I just colored that brown because that white piece is going to go over the top. You'll notice I did an inlay heart. The reason for that is because I want to stamp over the top of it. If you didn't want to stamp over it, you could just easily die cut a heart out and put it over the top. But I wanted to do it as an inlay, so I die cut it out of the square piece that fits on the frame. And then that heart will just fit right in there when it's ready to go. Now, I'm sorry I'm off screen, but I am going to glue the gift card holder together. So all I need to do for that is glue on the sides and the very bottom and do a very thin strip of that, and then you can attach it together. We'll trim down our piece that we foiled because I want this to look like wallpaper on the background. So I'm just moving that paper around to cut off the excess. And then this is going to go on a 5x7, like I said, so I'll cut that down to fit, and there'll be a nice little white border all around the edges. I do cut it down a little bit more because I need some flooring as well. I'm going to make a little scene, and you saw that in the little thumbnail. You'll see what you know what the scene looks like. But we'll glue down our wallpaper to the top, and then we're going to glue our flooring down to the bottom. And again, I'm sorry I'm off screen here. Sometimes I just get into create mode and I'm not necessarily paying attention to what is on screen. And I definitely need to do a better job of that. So here we go with the dresser that we're putting together. I'm adding a little bit of dimension to that with an Olo marker, a light gray one, adding that to the drawers. And then for the pole pieces, which you wouldn't have to add if you didn't want to, I'm going to just color those full gray. And it's very subtle. It's a very light gray, but that's just the top part of the dresser drawer. That'll go right at that top. So I'll just color those completely gray. I'll do that with all 4 of them. Then once that's ready, we can start attaching those top parts to our drawers. And it's just a thin strip of glue is all I'm using. And we'll do that for all 4 of those as well. Just that thin strip. I love that Barely Art glue for that. And then I'm going to attach the top part of our gift card holder. That's just basically almost like the envelope top. I'm only attaching it to the back. I'm going to hold that there with that glue. And then I'll leave the top part unattached so that I can put my gift card in there when I'm ready to do that. But now we'll put our drawers down on top. But I do love how we can sometimes take our dies and use them in slightly different ways than maybe what they were intended for. Since this was the toolbox die gift card holder, I thought it was fun to maybe make it into something not a toolbox. Although women use toolboxes too. I mean, or this could just be a thank you for anybody. I chose mom because I'm always needing to thank my mom. And then now I'm attaching the pieces together to make the frame and just placing things where they need to go. And then I don't want that dresser to look like it's floating, so I brought in an Olo marker for that. We'll add the baseboard, and then I'm going to mark where the dresser's going to sit, and then I can add in the shadowing for that as well. And then we can attach that down when we're ready to do that. So again, with the liquid glue. Yep, that'll just fit right on there nicely. It's at this point I realize I don't have that little piece in the lamp that's, you know, where the light would be. So I'm just going to use an excess piece, color it yellow, and then I'll trim it down so that I can glue it behind the lamp. But there is a piece, obviously, the die cuts out of there. I just lost it, which is easy to do when you're talking about little pieces like that. So we improvise, and we did, and it works fine. But now I am going to glue down our plant to our vase. And then I need to bring in that Simply Sentimental mom stamp set. And I've got the sentiment that I want to use at the top. And then I also have this one that says, I love you. And I'm going to do some partial stamping. Beauty of a clear stamp block and clear stamps is that you can see where you're inking. So I'm going to only ink the words I love. We'll stamp that, pardon my head, stamp that right on the picture frame. Clean that off really, really well. And then I'm going to ink up the word you so that I can stamp it underneath I love. Pardon my head once again, but that's all centered on there. And that's what I meant by doing a stamp over an inlay. Now I need to ink up my other sentiment. So thankful you are my, and then I'll trim that down a little bit later, but I went ahead and die cut out the shadow and the letters for the word mom. And we're just going to glue those down over that black shadow. But again, this could be a thank you for pretty much anybody. Obviously, it wouldn't have to be for your mom. Do one for your dad. I mean, dad loves home decor too, right? I'm sure. Who doesn't? And so now I can start assembling all the pieces onto the card. So I've got so thankful you are my, and then I'll attach down mom. You could use some foam tape on this if you wanted to, but I decided to keep it fairly flat since we're going to put a gift card in there. And then I'll put the frame down. We'll put our little plant down next to it. I like to wait to glue everything down until I know everything's going to fit the way I want it to. So I'm constantly playing around with placement. And then we'll glue our little lamp down as well. And then I decide to bring in the gift card. And it does look like I'm struggling with the gift card when the time comes, but I'm not. If you play around with it enough, it'll condition it to hold the gift card. You know, that paper is a little stiff. It just is. And so you just kind of have to play around with it, make sure that it's, you know, put it in, pull it out, all that. Do that enough and you won't have any issue. But I don't stop there. I am going to bring in some embellishments. We're using the Ruby Radiance gems. I thought that would really make the red pop even more, especially on that teal and white. It just looks good. And then we'll use our pickup stick and more of that Barely Art glue to attach everything down. And once we're done with that, that's going to finish off our card for today. I really love how this one turned out. I'll probably use this same idea for more cards for thank yous for other people. So if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button. Definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And be sure to check out all that Trinity Stamps has going on over on their blog, Facebook page, and Instagram for more crafty inspiration. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you soon.